Joining me now, Louisiana Congressman and House Minority Whip Steve Scalise. Great to have you with us this morning. Good morning.
Morning. Good to be with you, Jackie.
Let me go ahead and start with the issue of the Postal Service. You know, the president is making clear he's not trying to sabotage anything. He would authorize funding, but he's also worried about the coronavirus pandemic, the expiration of the extra benefits, and Americans getting that stimulus into their pockets. Now, it seems like Nancy Pelosi is willing to say the House should come back to work and vote on the post office, but no mention of the stimulus.
Yeah, interesting how the speaker has been trying to literally hold hostages for families and businesses and won't bring the House back in for that. But when it comes to this continued desire to get, and we're not talking about enough money to keep the post office running. Their revenues have actually been up since the pandemic. She's been trying to get about $75 billion. And keep in mind, their total budget is about that amount for the entire year. So, you know, she's been trying to make a money grab for a long time, well before COVID. She's just once again trying to take advantage of a crisis. The post office is delivering the mail. If every American voted by mail, it would represent maybe a 2% increase over what they did just in June of this year. So this isn't about whether or not the post office can deliver the mail. That's going to be taken care of regardless. It's about Nancy Pelosi just trying to grab more money and leveraging and holding families hostage and businesses hostage during this pandemic.
But part of it is about the mail-in ballots and universally collecting them that way as one potential option here. You know, the administration has been very against it. They look to past elections and they bring up instances where we've seen voter fraud as a result of it. You've had so many people say, listen, there should be a mail-in option for those people who need it, as we've always seen. But we are opening up the economy. People are getting back out across the country. Why can't they physically go into a voting booth to vote and to sanitize hands and wear a mask? What's the big deal?
This is really a fabricated crisis by the speaker. Look, we had elections in Louisiana this weekend. I went and voted in person on Saturday, and it was a smooth process. There's sanitizer. I had a mask on. There were no issues at all with voting in person. However, if somebody wants to vote by mail, that's always been an option. And every state does it a little bit differently. But what Speaker Pelosi's been trying to do, again, long before the pandemic, is mandate that every single person on voting rolls gets a ballot mailed to them. And as we know, no state has 100% accurate voting rolls. And so if you have millions of ballots just out there, who knows where, and houses where they might have registered people illegally, they would get ballots. Yeah. That's not a safe system. That's not going to protect the integrity of people who are voting legally. So why don't we make sure that the process works properly? Not mailing ballots to everybody on the rolls, even people illegally on rolls, would be ludicrous.
Well, we're also watching the Democratic National Convention kicking off tonight in Milwaukee. It's virtual. This is the first time we've ever seen anything like this. Joe Biden set to appear from home in Delaware. President Trump, meantime, is actually heading to Wisconsin in the flesh. He's launching a campaign blitz in battleground states. Both campaigns, of course, are battling for the Gen Z vote. Democrats, once again, looking to Bernie Sanders to rally the young progressives. Sanders is among one of the speakers tonight. You've also got Michelle Obama, and later on in the lineup, later during the week, you've got AOC, although with some limited time there. What kind of message are the Democrats going to try to drive home throughout this convention? And is it going to be very Bernie, AOC, Elizabeth Warren?
Yeah, well, regardless of what their message is going to be on TV, what their message has been behind closed doors, that Bernie Sanders has literally taken over the ideas and thought process of the party. He's literally their thought leader, with AOC leading the charge on things like energy policy, where they want to wreck our energy economy. They want to move us to a socialist left position. It's not where America is. Whether they'll admit it tonight, their bills that they've filed, look, Kamala Harris is a co-sponsor of Medicare for All. It's the bill that gets rid of private health insurance. That's Bernie Sanders' bill, and their VP pick is literally a co-sponsor of getting rid of your private health insurance and putting about 180 million Americans on Medicare, which already has its own solvency problems that we need to fix. So they're moving further to the left. President Trump is trying to rebuild this economy and get families back to work and in a safe way. And also, by the way, President Trump is working with Operation Warp Speed on finding an actual vaccine for COVID. So the president's working hard. I'm glad he's going to Wisconsin, sharing his message while they're trying to take this country to the socialist left.
Congressman Jonathan on my panel is going to jump in.
Yeah, so, I think there's a tremendous amount of pressure coming from the left. And that's what you're going to see at this DNC convention. Out here in California, you have Congresswoman Barbara Lee, you have Ro Khanna leading this progressive agenda. And so, you're going to hear from speakers like Bernie Sanders. And just like you said, Congressman, they're pushing Medicare for all. They're pushing the Green New Deal. And they're going to keep on pushing it until Biden and Kamala actually accept it, whether or not they think it's going to happen. I think that's eventually what's going to happen, because you're going to have that hard energy coming from the left. So I think it's only a matter of time before you see that agenda being pushed. I think the American people are going to see that coming.
Yeah, and keep in mind, you had at the top of the hour the reports of the violence and attacks on police in Seattle. Joe Biden has embraced the defund the police movement by saying he's willing to reallocate money away from police. He's trying to play word games with it. Reallocating money away from police is defunding police. And you've got Joe Biden on record saying that he supports that. And of course, we've seen Kamala support that as well. So, again, does the country want to move to the socialist left where they defund police and we turn the country into Seattle? I don't think that's where we are as a nation. But that's what this debate ultimately is going to be about. That's why Joe Biden needs to fulfill his promise to be a part of all three debates with President Trump.
Congressman, thank you so much. Great to see you.